Hello out there! My name is Akilah, educator with the Detroit Zoological Society, and I have animal care staff here. We are at the Great Apes of Harambee. We have our animal care staff, Tammy and Aaron, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the healthy foods that we provide our great apes here. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the chimps today. So Tammy, can you share a little bit with us about what the chimps eat?
Of course. So today Aaron is going to provide them with some fresh peppers and carrots. Typically the chimps eat a variety of fruits and vegetables. They eat a healthy diet, and it's a variable every day. We use seasonal fruits and vegetables, which is always great. And for something out here, Aaron is going to throw that to them in the habitat. These kinds of fruits and vegetables out here are not super high value. So it wouldn't be their desired bananas or grapes. It's going to be more of a less desirable thing so that everyone gets a chance. Out here we have a 2-year-old and a 50-year-old. So it's a variety of ages and abilities to get the food, but you can see Aaron is really doing a great job of spreading that out. Everyone is going to take their food and either go away with it, or they might hang out with their family and have a snack. But anyone that wants to participate can come over.
Now, what do we call a family of chimpanzees, Tammy?
A family of chimps is called a troop. So a troop would consist of a lot of animals, all in a very variable ages. So, for example, we have Ajua here, who's 11 years old, Bubbles, who's 49 years old, and little Jane, who turns 2 on World Chimpanzee Day, which is July 14th this year.
Yeah, this is really cool. That's really cool. And I also see there's a termite mound that's behind us. Now, do those guys ever use the termite mound?
Yes, well, that's a very nice feature of this habitat. So that termite mound is a replica of one that would be found in their natural habitat. In the back of it is a small door. You can open the door, and the zookeepers can put things like applesauce, honey, mustard, things that are liquid. So the chimp has to take their browse, rip a piece of it off, and dip it in the hole that's in the termite mound to sop up that liquid. That would simulate what would happen in the wild with termites. A wild chimpanzee would get the stick dipped down, and all of the termites would climb on the stick, and they could eat them off. So that is a very engaging activity. Now, this morning at 9 a.m. when the chimps came out here, they sort of used it up, if that makes sense, because it's very fun and it's a really engaging activity. But if you come to the zoo and visit the chimps here, you might be able to see them doing that. An interesting part about it too is that the end of the stick, they will chew it up to make it look like a broom, if that makes sense, to sop up even more of that really fun stuff. So chimpanzees are very ingenious, and they use tools, which is a very cool thing about them.
So some of the tools that we used to eat are a spoon. I couldn't imagine being out somewhere trying to figure out, like, how am I supposed to eat my applesauce today? Let me see if I can create my own spoon.
Yes, exactly.
So
Yes, and necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah,
so when they really want something, chimpanzees will get it. So we find that here at the zoo, if they are very motivated for something, for example, sometimes we freeze their foods inside of a big block of ice, which is a good summertime treat. They will spend a long time trying to break the ice or chip at it with sticks, trying to get those grapes out. So they are very, very good at getting what they want.
So I know you said our youngest is 2 and our oldest is 50. Now, how do they get along with one another?
They have a very complex family group here, but they have their place, if that makes sense. Some of the older chimps play with the youngsters, babysit the youngsters, engage with them. The male, there's 2 males here. There's Ajua and Amara. They both work with or play with the youngsters, and they'll spend time grooming each other. So everyone gets along very well, and they really typically have their favorites that they'll hang out with, but as a group, they are really cohesive and they get along really great.
That's good that they're able to get along so well.
Yeah.
So talking about getting along, we're at the Great Apes of Harambee, so we have chimpanzees here, also gorillas. Now, do they ever share a yard?
The gorillas and chimps share yards with their own family. So sometimes the gorillas would be in this habitat, which is 1 acre, and sometimes they would be in the south habitat, which is 3 acres, but never at the same time. That would not be a good idea. There would be a lot of chaos in that situation. So either side can house either species. It just has to be one species at a time.
All right. And so for our viewers out there, if you have questions, it looks like we do. And some people want to know, how long have our chimpanzees been with us?
The chimps have been here for many, many years, decades. This particular habitat has been around more than 15 years. It's a newer thing at Detroit Zoo. So this is a very, very nice habitat to be in because it has such large yards. There's 1 acre here, like I said, 3 acres over there. But chimps have been at the Detroit Zoo for decades, and we are so happy to have them here. They're a wonderful to work with.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you do positive reinforcement training with them, and then what's the importance of that? I know some of our viewers out there may have saw the zoo evolve from time to time.
Yes.
Over the years. So tell us a little bit about that and the reason why we do positive reinforcement.
In a very basic sense, whenever we want animals to participate in their own vet care, to shift into areas when we need to service them, we want them to do it on their own terms and be rewarded for the behavior. So when they're doing something we want them to do, we reward them. That could be with attention or food or being close to another favorite chimp. So for example, when we want to maybe look at a tooth or check on a blood pressure or something like that, or the vet wants to do an ultrasound, all of these chimps are trained to participate in their own care. So they do it willingly, and they're rewarded with things like peanuts or a squirt of juice or a little dab of peanut butter. And that makes the chimps have less stress when things like maybe a wound is looked at or something like that. And they really are able to participate in their own life and make their own choices.
So I know you said it's not favorable food that we're giving them right now. What is their favorite food of all time?
I would say that fruits and nuts are very high value, and they really are enjoying this, as you can see, and everyone's having a nice time. But it's just kind of like a child having a big plate of chicken nuggets versus maybe some carrot sticks. You know, I mean, it's okay, it's good, but they're not really very, very excited over it. So when we do give things like slices of banana or cantaloupe or things like that, we do it in a more individual setting, and then we can get close looks at their teeth and their hands and feet and do any exams we need to do. And that's done more in the holding area in the early morning or late at night. But they get multiple feeds throughout the day, all day long, because that's how chimps would eat in the wild. They would forage throughout the day.
Okay. Now, you talk about foraging throughout the day. Do they ever forage in the yard here?
Yes. Now, the zookeeper's in the morning, so Aaron came out this morning. He would have been putting all sorts of things out here. There might be some seeds, some nuts, some chopped up celery and things like that, and browse, and that's for them to find. But there are also things that are growing out here. There are tops of grasses that they can nibble on. Sometimes they find certain things out there that are plants, or we check for toxic plants and things like that. But they can sort of forage for themselves out here. Now, of course we discourage any guests from throwing anything in there and doing anything like that, but the zookeepers can toss things and make it a feeding opportunity for everyone with some of those lower value items.
That is amazing out there. So I hope you guys are still joining us with maybe your healthy snack right now. Let's see if we have any more other questions. Let's just check our feed really quickly. I don't think we have any questions. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us, Tammy?
Like I said, World Chimpanzee Day is coming up July 14th, so we would like you to celebrate. I'm sure the education staff will have some really fun activities for you.
Stay tuned in.
Yes, and thank you so much for supporting the Detroit Zoological Society. We look forward to you coming out and having a beautiful day with your family, being outside and celebrating wildlife and nature just like we do. We have a great job here, and we just really appreciate everyone's support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we do have one last question.
No problem.
Hopefully this will be the last question. I think it's a really great question. Thank you, Alex. It says, do we give the chimps any puzzles? Do we provide them any other type of enrichment?
Yes, it might not be a puzzle like you think it would, but a puzzle might be something like a box that has holes in it that we put some straw in there and maybe some peanuts or sunflower seeds, and they have to dig through and sift through that to find something. We also might take a PVC tube or something this is for the indoor habitat or in their day rooms, and put peanut butter. So they have to use their fingers or a tool to get that out. And those are called puzzle feeders. There's a variety. And these zookeepers work very hard to make sure that the chimps stay busy and use their minds and their bodies to get that food. And it's really engaging for them.
It is. So it's just kind of like how we do puzzles, where we kind of keep ourselves engaged.
Yes.
We kind of want to keep reading, want to try different puzzles out. It keeps our brain working. It keeps their brains working when we give them different enrichment. So that's really amazing.
Absolutely.
That the animal care staff takes that into consideration.
Yes.
And to make sure that we're giving them everything that we can give them while they're in our care.
Yep.
So we definitely appreciate it. I'm going to turn the camera around so you guys can get a look and see what's happening here. And there's Aaron again. He's tossing some of those fruits. No, all the things they get in today are mainly vegetables, right, Tammy?
Yes, peppers and carrots.
Peppers and carrots today. Not too many grapes. I see him walking over to the termite, but I don't think they're doing too much. And I don't see baby Jane right now.
I think she just headed
Oh,
off.
she's on the back if you guys can see her. Alrighty. And again, Aaron is one of our animal care staff. They do have a special diet, and we discourage any of our guests throwing any food in the any animal habitat. We make sure that they get a healthy diet. We see some browsing over here. I'm not sure, is this a jewel right here that's doing some browsing?
Yes, absolutely. On the left, that's a jewel.
All right, that's a jewel, and he is how old?
11.
11. So they'll do some natural browsing sometimes. Alrighty. I think that is all the time that we have today, guys. We want to just say thank you so much for joining us for this dose of virtual vitamin Z. If you want to check out more virtual vitamin Z, make sure you follow our social media page. Check out DetroitZoo.org. That's DetroitZoo.org. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Ann.